Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 iconic screamers in music. For this list, we'll be looking at singers who are well known for their screaming style of vocal delivery in the studio and on stage. However, we will be excluding singers from hardcore and screamo to focus on more traditional screamers with extensive bodies of work and legacies. Number 10. Ronnie James Dio. One of the most iconic heavy metal singers of all time, Ronnie James Dio cemented himself amongst the greats of his genre through his work with bands like Rainbow, Black Sabbath, and his eponymous band, Dio.
Holy diver, you've been down too long in the midnight sea.
Most notable for his immensely powerful voice, which stood in stark contrast to his diminutive stature, Dio's vocal range was highlighted by his impressive screaming capabilities, showcased on songs like Kill the King, Neon Nights, and Wild One.
We never turn the pages. They cannot let your spirit touch the ground.
Although Dio's screams had more finesse to them than some of his contemporaries, there is no denying the power of his voice and the influence it had on heavy metal. Number 9. ZACK de la ROCHA. Famous for his rage-fueled delivery of politically charged lyrics, Rage Against the Machine frontman ZACK de la ROCHA's screaming vocals are one of the most vital ingredients of one of the most important alt-rock bands of all time. Delivering his poetic and politically charged verses with genuine outrage, De La ROCHA's half-rapping, half-screaming style provides a rough, streetwise edge which perfectly gels with his band's fiery sound. Iconic tracks like Killing in the Name, Guerrilla Radio, and Bulls on Parade serve as prime examples of both De La ROCHA's venomous indictments against injustice and his considerable screaming prowess.
They rally down the family with a pocket full of shells.
Number 8. JANIS JOPLIN. A pioneering presence in female rock and roll, JANIS JOPLIN's angst-ridden screams came from a very personal place, which shine through in recordings and live performances alike.
It ain't fair! Oh, baby, it ain't fair!
Although she tragically passed away at only 27 years old, Joplin left behind an extensive legacy, and her bluesy wails remain the stuff of rock legend.
I want to love you, that's all I could do.
Her raspy screams on songs like Ball and Chain and Piece of My Heart told the story of a young woman plagued by a lifetime of heartache and suffering, which made her vocal delivery both a testimonial and a catharsis for Joplin's inner agony. Number 7. Joe Cocker. Influenced by American soul singers like Ray Charles, Joe Cocker's adoption of gravelly, soul-style vocals combined with a rock and roll edge and his English coarseness made for a truly unforgettable voice. As demonstrated on songs like The Letter, With a Little Help from My Friends, and You Are So Beautiful, Cocker's forays into screaming were the product of intense feeling and emotion rather than anger, which in turn added a layer of authenticity to his heartfelt delivery. Despite many of his hit songs being covers, Cocker's raw, throaty vocals arguably made them his own unique creations. Number 6. Bruce Dickinson. Picking up where Paul Di'Anno left off following the first 2 Iron Maiden albums, Bruce Dickinson stepped up to the plate with his operatic voice and screamed his way into heavy metal history. Quickly eclipsing his predecessor thanks to his incredible vocals on Run to the Hills and The Number of the Beast, Dickinson became an integral part of the band's sound. And he cemented himself as Iron Maiden's voice by screaming his lungs out on songs like Aces High, Be Quick or Be Dead, and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. A force to be reckoned with on stage to this day, Bruce Dickinson undoubtedly raised the bar for heavy metal singers. Number 5. Screamin' Jay Hawkins. In addition to being the godfather of shock rock, Screamin' Jay Hawkins lived up to his nickname and then some, as one of rock and roll's greatest screamers.
Stop the things you do.
An incredibly powerful singer beneath his theatrics, Screamin' Jay's shrieks were as mesmerizing as his stage performances, which included a vast assortment of grunts, snorts, and yelps, which furthered his ghoulish yet tongue-in-cheek persona. Displaying his trademark screaming vocals on tracks like I Put a Spell on You, Constipation Blues, and She Put the Whammy on Me, Hawkins' combination of astonishing vocals, showmanship, and macabre foreshadowed the likes of Alice Cooper, Ozzy Osbourne, and Rob Halford after him. Number 4. Robert Plant. Regarded to this day as one of the greatest rock and roll vocalists of all time, Robert Plant could scream with the best of them. And his tenure with Led Zeppelin was the proof to back it up. With his high-pitched shriek gracing classic Zeppelin tunes like Communication Breakdown, Immigrant Song, and Black Dog, Plant's versatile vocal range was one of the key elements to crafting Zeppelin's legend. And his talent for screaming played a significant role in the development of hard rock and heavy metal in the decades that followed Zeppelin's reign as rock and roll royalty. Number 3. Steven Tyler. You can't have a list about iconic screamers without the demon of screaming himself. While other rock singers usually carve a niche for themselves singing high or low, Steven Tyler molded his career with Aerosmith off of his ability to scream his heart out. Exemplified on songs like Back in the Saddle, Walk This Way, and Dream On, Tyler's style of screaming is remarkable in its longevity as he continued to rely on his ear-piercing abilities decades into Aerosmith's storied history. The band announced a farewell tour in 2023, and you can count on Tyler giving it his all to the very end. Number 2. Roger Daltrey. One of the most celebrated screamers in the annals of rock and roll, Roger Daltrey may not have relied on his screaming for all of The Who's back catalog. But when he wanted to belt it out, he was second to none. In addition, Daltrey's scream is all the more impressive considering the emotional range he is capable of when utilizing it, as heard on tracks as diverse as Who Are You?, Love Reign Over Me, and Won't Get Fooled Again. The scream on that one in particular has since become arguably more famous than the song itself. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Axl Rose. Guns N' Roses wouldn't be the same without Axl Rose's piercing voice. Dave Grohl. Grohl's screams have made the best Foo Fighters songs anthems for the ages. Brian Johnson. AC/DC's longest-running lead singer is a hard rock legend. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Rob Halford. The master of ear-splitting screaming for more than 4 decades, Judas Priest's Rob Halford was among the first heavy metal singers to make use of an operatic vocal style, which sailed even higher than the dual guitar attack of Glenn Tipton and KK Downing.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Shredding his larynx apart on Priest classics like The Ripper, Victim of Changes, and the staggering might of Painkiller, Halford set the vocal standard for the new wave of British heavy metal bands of the early 1980s and beyond.
It's
An onstage juggernaut to this day, Rob Halford continues to set the bar for rock and metal singers worldwide with his iconic soaring screams. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.